Hello and welcome to Female Cricket Live. The 25th match of the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup was played today between Australia and Bangladesh, which Australia went on to win by 5 wickets. The match was reduced to 43 overs per side due to rain. Batting first, Bangladesh posted 135 for 6 in 43 overs thanks to Lata Mondal, who top scored with 33 runs. While for Australia, it was Ashley Gardner and Jess Jonathan who picked up 2 wickets each. In reply, Australia did not get off to the best of starts as they lost their top three inside the first 10 overs. However, Beth Mooney top scored with an unbeaten 66 to lead the run chase from the front for the Australians. While for Bangladesh, it was Salma Khatun who was the pick of the bowlers as she picked up 3 for 23 in her 9 overs. Now, after this match, we can see that Australia have won all the 7 matches in this World Cup so far, while Bangladesh have won 1 out of the 6 matches. Now, ahead of us, we have another exciting contest. It is between New Zealand and Pakistan. The match will be played tomorrow, that is 26th of March, at the Hagley Oval in Christchurch, and it will start at 3:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. So you can catch all the live action on Star Sports and Disney Plus Hotstar. Now, to talk more about this match between New Zealand and Pakistan, I have with me Dhanush Lavanya and Urvi Shah. So, Dhanush Lavanya is a content writer at Female Cricket, and Urvi Shah is a mental health facilitator and an avid cricket writer. So, I welcome both of you to Female Cricket Live.
Thank you.
All right. So just a few minutes back, we had this update from the BCCI that they have proposed a six-team women's IPL. So before we start the discussion about New Zealand and Pakistan, maybe let us talk quickly about this proposal that BCCI have put forward that they are going to have this six-team women's IPL starting next year. So Dhanush, what are your thoughts and what are your first comments when you got to know about this news?
Yeah, it's been long overdue. I have been waiting since 2017 after India had a amazing run in the 2017 World Cup where they went into the finals. They played extremely good cricket against Australia and all those stuff. Everything that India did in that World Cup was iconic, and that is going to be remembered, and it will be etched in the women's cricket history here in India. So I feel that 2018 was a great option, a great opportunity for BCCI. They could have started then itself. They had the capacity to do it, but I don't know why they didn't do it immediately. But we have seen the rise of women's Big Bash League and how successful it has been. It's been since 2015, and in last 7 seasons, it's been one of the most amazing cricket tournaments in Australia. And you see the impact of that women's Big Bash League on Australian cricket team as well in the national team. The Australian players are completely a different league when it comes to other nation cricketers. So definitely, it should be something that should have been that women's IPL should have happened like in 2018, 2019 itself. But now I think so. BCCI are being pushed into introducing this because if you see, ECB announced the women's 100, and that went on well in last year. And now, women West Indies Cricket Board announced the first season of the women's CPL that will be happening in July and August alongside with the men's one. Even though they are starting with 3 teams, that's a great way to start, right? 3 teams also will be competitive. It's going to be a good contest between bat and ball. But at the end of the day, women are getting to play getting an opportunity to join together and play a franchisee league, which the men have been doing over the last 15 years. So I guess it's a very good thing, and I finally hope that this will become a reality. And you girls being, and especially you, Julie, being a cricketer by yourself, how happy you are with this potential chances. I feel so this time we are going to see it happen. It will become a reality, is what I feel. How happy are you listening, getting to know this?
Absolutely thrilled to get this information that BCCI have proposed the 60 women's IPL because just like you, Dhanush, and of course like Urvi, I was also hoping that probably women's IPL will start. And I think you were looking forward to it from 2017, but I'll be honest with you, I was looking forward from 2020 when India made it to the finals of the T20 World Cup. And unfortunately, India ended up on the losing side. But since then, I thought that probably women's IPL is on the cards. However, 2021 did not see that happening. Also, the Women's T20 Challenge, which was started in the year 2018, which had 2 teams then, and then in the 19 they had 3 teams. So that also didn't happen in the year 2021. But now I'm happy that it is going to happen, and I think probably a few months back, PCB, Pakistan Cricket Board's president Ramiz Raja also mentioned that they will be starting something like a PSL for women. So probably that could have also added to the pressure that was there on the BCCI already from the fans to start this women's IPL. So yes, pretty excited and looking forward to it. Urvi, your thoughts on this before we get going with the New Zealand Pakistan match?
Yeah, like even if in our discussions we have been talking about how to handle pressure, how to get over the winning line, and how to do it. I think IPL was long due on the cards because that is the only place that is going to give you a proper understanding of how to perform under pressure. Because the amount of pressure pendulum that swings in games which are like limited overs and something like an IPL, it's going to give a lot, and also it will provide a lot more opportunity to see all of our young guns to give their best, go in the momentum, and even avoid more breaks in their career because that kind of pulls them off from their game. So I think yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Super happy with the news.
Absolutely. So let us get back our discussion to the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup. Match number 26. It will be played between New Zealand and Pakistan. Though a dead rubber, I am sure both the teams will be looking forward to get a win. So Dhanush, New Zealand last played against England on 20th of March. Now they are playing against Pakistan on 26th of March. So a 6-day break. Do you think the New Zealand team would have used this break to good effect?
Yeah, I feel so. They were pretty much they pretty much knew that they are out of the tournament after the previous game. It was virtual knockout right against England, so the team losing it would have will anyways being were eliminated. And unfortunately, they were the ones being the hosts, being the people who are welcoming the others. They are the ones who have to leave the place now. So unfortunately, it was unfortunate to see how the whole tournament has gone for New Zealand because they had the playing 11, and I read an article as well where the team also the coach also Bob Carter was really confident that the team is pretty much set. They had a very good 12 to 18-month period over the last couple of years where the team was performing really consistently and winning series. But unfortunately, the World Cup was not a place where they clicked as a unit, and especially the batting unit is something that didn't live up to the expectations, to the standards we were talking about. The top four being the ones to look out for, maybe the strongest top four amongst all the eight teams and all this stuff. But unfortunately, that top four didn't perform this time in the World Cup, and that was a big impact. Whereas if you see the bowling, apart from Leah Tahu, everyone else is pretty much new. They are like 2 3 years into the international circuit, but the bowling unit compared to the batters was really really good, and everyone stepped up, and it was a great thing to see how the whole bowling unit was. But at the end of the day, I'm just sad that the home team has to miss out, and this 1 week is a great opportunity for them to just sit back and relax. And I don't think so they will be coming in with any pressure tomorrow. They will just come out and play the normal brand of cricket. Maybe they can finally show that if we are given if what we could have been, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Tomorrow is a game where they can come in and choose to bat first and score some big runs on the board, showcase all the top four batters being at their best, and also the bowling has been doing really well. So I feel that it's a great match. They will just come in and play their best tomorrow. It will be like a final for them. Uri, what do you say about anything to add on from New Zealand's perspective? Because we never thought that they are going to be a team that will get eliminated. We always were Australia, England, and New Zealand are firm. Are the three teams that are going to be there in the semifinals at the beginning of the tournament is what we expected. But unfortunately, New Zealand now missing out. How do you feel the whole mindset is going to be?
I feel somewhere the fact that they are the home team played a uh, vital role in their mindset here because there is already a added pressure on them. Like even if it's a silent one, there was a pressure because I think the last time I think they won, they were on the home soil. It's been long they haven't won on the home soil, so
Yeah, in 2000 years.
yeah, so it's like an added pressure. It's like an unconscious, subconscious thing that just keeps playing in your head, and I feel somewhere also having a good run against India in the bilateral series has impacted their performance here because after a point, giving your all, kind the body kind of experiences a kind of fatigue mentally. You are strained to a level where you have to just keep pushing. So I feel these things, even if they are at a mild level, they did play a role. But unfortunate not to see New Zealand, like you mentioned. We did see Australia, England, and New Zealand being in the top three, and the fight was for the fourth position. But if you see the scorecard now, it's like the positions, like only the top two are fixed. The other positions are quite open for anyone to grab. So yeah, it's quite unfortunate to not have New Zealand the host in the semi-final or the final here. But yeah, and talking about Pakistan, I think both are going to just play to get an experience to just end it on a high note. I feel both the teams are going to go and play as if they want to end on the high note. They don't want to play something where they are not giving their 100% because it's pretty much their last game, and both the teams know the reality of it. So, Julie, what do you think? How would Pakistan's approach would be here?
Uh, sorry, I didn't get you. The last part, what did you say? I think I lost my connection there.
Yeah, I was asking about Pakistan's approach for tomorrow. Like, what do you feel? What's going
Yeah,
to
I
happen?
think as you mentioned, Urvi, that probably both these teams need to play some fearless cricket, just and go out there and enjoy themselves. Just forget what happened in the last 2 weeks and maybe just look at it that this is the last game of the World Cup and probably let us give our best is probably what the both the teams must be thinking. But also if we look at the games that they had, the last 6 games, if we talk from the New Zealand perspective, they had three close matches. So though they have won 2 out of the 6 matches, I'm sure they could have won 5 out of the 6 matches because the first match against West Indies they lost by just 3 runs. Then against by South Africa, I think by 2 wickets. Then against by England, the latest one by just 1 wicket. So I think probably if New Zealand could have got those at least 2 out of those 3 wins, probably they would have been there in that semi-final position. And similarly for Pakistan, they had a couple of close games. One against, of course, Bangladesh when they lost by 9 runs, and one, of course, against South Africa, I think, which they lost by 6 runs. So again, that could have gone Pakistan's way, but yes, it is all gone now. So in the hindsight, we can say that yes, they had close games, but unfortunately, they were not able to capitalize on that opportunities that were offered to them. So the simple thing could be for both the teams to go there and enjoy themselves. That is what I feel. So, Dhanush, what do you think will be the positives that the Pakistani team will carry from this World Cup? Because we saw in this World Cup that they won against West Indies, and this win came after 13 years in the World Cup. They last won in 2009 World Cup also against West Indies, and in the 2022 World Cup they also won against West Indies. So, apart from this, what could be the other positives that the Pakistan team will carry with themselves?
Yeah, more than positives, I can say there are a few lessons also to carry from this World Cup. But if we start talking about the positives for Pakistan, especially their bowling is the thing that I will say has been really good. Everyone out there, like Nashra Sandhu, Nidadar, Diana Beg, Fatima Sana, everyone, the key players who were a part of the first of these 6 games, everyone have stepped up in one or the other game and have taken wickets, and everyone have taken around minimum of 4 wickets if I'm not wrong. So I feel that they had a very good World Cup as a bowling unit, but unfortunately they didn't get the same support from the batting side. The batters were sometimes like how we were talking in the previous discussions, they were batting in extremes. They were either too defensive or too aggressive. So they should make sure that they should have made sure that after the first game, especially where they it was pretty evident that they were playing too defensive and their chase against India was pretty lifeless. They never looked in contention of winning that match. Maybe they could have changed that approach and tried towards scoring runs through singles and doubles instead of try to going for boundaries. But unfortunately, everything has gone now. They have to just play to their strengths tomorrow. They have to just go out there and just have a great game. Don't think much about what has all happened in the tournament. Especially the Bangladesh loss is also going to be a big factor on them because they never expected to lose against them, and they lost it. So unfortunate it was for them. But the West Indies game, we know it was more like a blessing in disguise with the rain gods and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it was a bad World Cup for the Pakistan batters, but a good World Cup for the Pakistan bowlers. So I feel that bowling is a positive thing, and I feel Bisma Maroof will go back and talk with the team and try to change the approach of the batting unit going forward. Is what I feel. Urvi, as far as the Pakistan batters concerned, are with the team not performing so well with the bat, did you feel any situation out there where this team could have performed well, where there were signs of positive stuff coming from them? But did you see anything like that?
Uh, I don't think there is any one particular situation where you would see a glimpse of, oh, maybe they could have done this. It's a constant thing. Like constantly, whenever I saw Pakistan batting, I was constantly thinking like maybe they are thinking too much in their head when they are going out to bat, and if that is something that they can work on, like instead of anticipating the shot or being taken aback by the bowler and the length of the ball, it's more about being present, being in the present. Like the more you are in the present, the more you are ready to face the ball. So I think that is one thing that if the entire batting unit focuses on, they will, like we said, instead of playing on the extremes, they start playing a lot more centered, and that can actually change the whole approach to batting, which I think the captain will, at the end of the day, address it to the team that maybe we need to stop thinking about our batting and we need to actually start batting when we go out to bat. So I think that is something that they need to work on. So that specifically, if I see, there were a lot of chances, but because it looked like they were too much in their head about the scores, they could not grab and they could not give it out for the team. So I think that is somewhere I feel they, if they get it together, then as you mentioned, bowling has been amazing in this World Cup. So maybe by the next time we see them on the field in a World Cup game, we will see a very different Pakistan team batting and bowling out there. What about you, Julie? Anything New Zealand should take as positives from the
So I
tournament event?
think I think the biggest positive for New Zealand, according to me, is Frances Mackay and her development as a player, because she was pretty good in the World Cup, playing her first World Cup, of course, picking up 8 wickets so far, and let us see what she goes to do tomorrow. Also, I think she picked up 4 wickets in one game against England and almost won the game for New Zealand single-handedly. But unfortunately, things didn't go New Zealand's way. So I think Frankie Mackay has been one of the exceptional players for New Zealand. And of course, the fielding, the kind of fielding that she has of her own bowling, that is simply amazing. Whenever a batter tries to hit a ball to her, she's simply ready to hit the ball back to the stumps, to the wicket again of the striker. So that is simply amazing. So according to me, Frankie Mackay was a big positive for New Zealand. And apart from that, if we look at the other things, Maddie Green probably with a half century in her last match, she showed some class there, that she is a good middle order batter and can get more opportunities in the future, given the fact that probably Lauren Down is still injured and down, and Maddie Green can get the go ahead of her going in the future. But I was disappointed to see Amelia Kerr. Honestly, I had a lot of hopes from her. She being a world class all rounder, a young all rounder, of course, with a double century to her name and 5 wicket haul in the same match. So I was expecting a lot from Amelia Kerr, but unfortunately, this was not the World Cup. And maybe if I look from the Pakistan perspective, a couple of positives that I would look is, of course, Sidra Amin's century. Of course, the first century for Pakistan in the World Cup, and the 4 wicket haul of Nida Dar. That was the best bowling figure registered by Pakistan during the World Cup. So probably both these teams can look at this World Cup and probably take into consideration that they did have some positives in the World Cup apart from the losses that they faced, but then there were some good things also that happened. So let us see what happens in the match tomorrow. So, Dhanush, what do you think would be the predictions? Who do you think will win the final match of this World Cup?
Yeah, definitely. I feel that New Zealand can win this match is what I feel, because they have had a very bad World Cup. Unfortunately, they never expected it to go like the way it has went. Unfortunate for them. And tomorrow is that big game where they can go and play it all guns blazing. The batters can come out and smash from the very first ball. The bowlers can come in and do their job that they have done pretty well. If you see the teams that have underperformed in this World Cup, all of the teams like Bangladesh, Pakistan, New Zealand, their bowling has been good, but their batting is something that has been an issue. So that is a common factor that we can see in this World Cup for underperforming teams that are unfortunately eliminated from this tournament. So I feel that tomorrow the batting will be really keen to come out there and perform. Because if you see the last match that happened in Christchurch yesterday between England and Pakistan, Pakistan were bundled out for 105. If Pakistan goes out to bat, I feel a pretty much similar innings would happen once again. But I feel that if New Zealand wins the toss, they will go out there and try to bat and score some big runs. The weather conditions are also pretty on the positive side. It is a warm day out there, so the batters will make the best use of the conditions. And in the pre-match press conference as well, Sophie Devine was like, "We are going to play this game as our final." So that is their approach, is what going to be. So they will play it for the fans. They will play it for the people that have come and watched that the team that they are playing for pride at the end of the day. So I feel it is going to be a simple match where both the teams will try to come out and play their best without any hesitation, without any thoughts. So let us see how it will go on. And Urvi, how do you see Pakistan from their side approaching in this game? I feel that they will also be doing the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you mentioned that they'll play for the pride, they'll play for their fans, and they'll be playing the game because they want to make it count, right? I also read somewhere that they are going to get a full audience tomorrow, hopefully. So if that happens, it's going to be a very different energy on the ground, and uh, I think these would be the two teams who will get an opportunity to play in front of a full stadium in the whole World Cup. So it's going to be a very beautiful experience for them. And I think when it comes to predictions, I will go with how Dhanush is mentioning that if New Zealand goes on to bat first, they're going to make it count and they're going to go big against Pakistani bowlers. And if Pakistan bowls first, I'm sorry, if Pakistan bat first, I still see something on the similar lines of how they performed before, because New Zealand bowling attack is pretty strong, and to challenge them and to go big, I don't think they are going somewhere around more than 220, I guess, even if they give their best uh, on the field tomorrow. But yeah, that's what I feel is going to happen tomorrow. Judy,
Judy,
anything?
from one more thing that has been coming out, that Leah Tahu, who got injured in the previous match, she pulled a hamstring and she's literally out of tomorrow's game. And that too, she had to play again in front of her home crowd. So unfortunate that she'll be missing that. And how do you feel the absence of Leah Tahu will be affecting them? Whom do you see replacing her in tomorrow's game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was just about to ask you that I think you spoke about Sophie Devine during her pre-match press conference. But is Sophie Devine also fit and fine? Because
Yeah,
even she
she
was
hopes that she will be fit for tomorrow's game.
all right.
Her issue was not a serious one, but
Yeah,
Leah Tahu is
Tahu.
definite that she won't be playing tomorrow.
Okay, so I think probably the only fast bowler, I think apart from whoever have played right now, Haley Jensen, Hanaru, and those people, there is Rosemary Mayal. So who has been the player who has not got a game still for New Zealand in this World Cup. So probably Rosemary Meyer could get a go if New Zealand want to play a bowler and make that like to like replacement. But let us see. Not quite sure. Or whether they go for a batter in somebody else. So let us see what happens. But I think Rosemary Meyer could be the like to like replacement for Leah Tahuhu. Right. So I think we have one question from our fan that we can have on the screen. Okay. So Priyansh Pasi is asking, why isn't the first semi-final a day-night game, and which are the reserved days for semi-final? So I think the first part, I think Dhanush, you were talking about in our earlier conversations. So I would like
Yeah,
you
yes.
only to answer that.
Yeah, it is simple. The first semifinal is happening in Basin Reserve in Wellington. That Basin Reserve Stadium doesn't have floodlights, unfortunately. So since there is no availability of floodlights, the match will be happening. It will be a day match, and the starting time is 3:30 a.m. IST. So that is the reason why it's not a day-night game, since it's been scheduled in Wellington. The other match, which will be happening, other semi-final will be happening in Christchurch. So that is a different story altogether, because they have a day-night facility. They have the floodlight facility, so it will be a day-night match like usual. The final also will happen in Christchurch itself. It will be also a day-night affair. It will be starting at 6:30 a.m. on 3rd April, and the semi-final two will be on 31st of March, if I'm not wrong. 31st of March or 1st of April, Julie. 31st of March, right? Yeah. So
Okay.
those are the those are the things. And yeah, as far as the second part of the question is concerned, reserve days for semifinals and final, definitely it will be there, because it is an ICC tournament, and we have seen in the men's side. I remember when India and New Zealand had a semifinal game in 2019. New Zealand batted in the first day. The rain had then the second half rain had an issue, so they had to move the match to the next day. And in the second day, we saw Team India come out and try to chase, and we had all our hearts broken that day. So, so that is a bad memory that we don't want to remember. But I don't feel so with tomorrow in this semi-final. We will be having any issues of going to a reserve day, because the conditions are pretty good in Wellington. Also, by next week, the weather will be way better than what it is today. Today it was too cold, it was too windy. I don't think so it will be as horrible like how it was today between not England, between Australia and not Australia and Bangladesh match. So next week the conditions are pretty good in both Christchurch and Wellington, so there won't be any issues of going into the reserve day. Everything will happen as per schedule, is what I feel.
All right, great. I hope Priyansh Dhanush was able to answer both your questions. All right, so I think if there are no more questions, probably we can close this discussion about the New Zealand Pakistan match. So okay, sorry, we can't go so far. All right, so Chaitanya Rajhans has a question. New Zealand can qualify for semis if England and India lose the last match. They should gain NRR tomorrow for it. Urvi, would you like to take this up?
That would be nothing less than a miracle needed out there, if I have to be honest. So it's quite unlikely to assume that England is going to lose against Bangladesh, and also India against South Africa, because they are going to go all guns blazing. So NZ will have to pull up something big, like just get them all out for, let's say, 80 something if they score around 300 plus to keep that NRR in check, but it's quite difficult. So yeah, if that miracle happens, then maybe NZ will be up on the top four, but it's very less likely to happen.
Absolutely. And I think even if India loses, the next team that will qualify is West Indies. So I don't think that New Zealand could make that to the semi-final position. So maybe in the next World Cup, Chaitanya, if you're a New Zealander fan, maybe the next World Cup could be the one for New Zealand. All right. So great. It was nice talking to you, Dhanush and Urvi, about this New Zealand-Pakistan match that we are going to witness tomorrow. That is 26th of March. The match will be played at the Hagley Oval in Christchurch, and it will start at 3:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. So all the fans can catch the live action on Star Sports and Disney Plus Hotstar. And we'll be back again tomorrow to preview two matches. So one is between England and Bangladesh, and the second match is between India and South Africa. So do join us for our conversation tomorrow at 8 p.m. and send us your questions using hashtag Female Cricket Live. Thank you.